Hey guys, last week I had a 4D scan. In this video, we are going to be talking about exactly what that means, what that is, what to expect from the appointment, and whether it is all that it is cracked up to be. So let's get straight into it. And don't forget, if you find these videos helpful, give it a thumbs up to support the channel and subscribe for more. Okay, so what is a 4D scan? It is essentially a 3D image of your baby, of your uterus, and what is going on in there. They can give you lots of different information. You can obviously see the baby, slightly different to the usual ultrasound where it's very 2D, it's just a flat image. We'll pop a couple of examples around me here, but it's essentially a 3D image of your baby, which is absolutely incredible to see, and it's a very special moment. Now, the reason we decided to go ahead with this is because here in the UK, it might be different where you live, but you have a few scans up until your 20th week. And the 20th week is your anatomy scan where they measure the baby, they make sure the baby is growing well, all of the limbs are measuring okay and in proportion, which is awesome. But then from that point on, you don't really get any more scans. So you're halfway, up to 40 weeks, and yes, you get to see your midwife and you get to have those appointments, and they'll measure your belly at those appointments to make sure that you are on track. But from this point on, you don't actually get to see your baby growing and see how it's developing in the womb. So this was one of the major points that one of the reasons why I really wanted to go and have this scan, because I thought if you do the research on the scan, it tells you that you can go from anywhere from 27 weeks onwards. So it's like, well, 7 additional weeks is quite a good time to wait. I think we ended up booking it in at 28 weeks. So you've had 2 more months of baby growth, the baby's really developing, and then that's when you get to see your baby and just confirm, okay, we are on track, everything's going well, and see the little baby moving around. So what to expect from the appointment on the day when you go in. So you'll be taken to a room, which is a really nice, relaxing, big room with the lights kind of dimmed, just to get you in a really nice, relaxed state. They then put the gel on your tummy, very similar to an ultrasound, and they'll start moving around, looking and feeling for where the baby is, and you can see it on the screen. So when you initially see it on the screen as an ultrasound image, so the one that you would be used to seeing, and then when they feel like they've got the angle, they will switch it to the 4D image so you can start to have a look at the baby. Before they do that though, so as you're looking at the ultrasound, they will do the measuring. So they will, again at this appointment, similar to your anatomy scan at 20 weeks, re-measure everything. So the baby's head, the baby's limbs, the baby's stomach, you get to hear the heartbeat again. They do all of these measurements just to make sure that everything is right on track. And it's really comforting to know that, you've gone, another 8 weeks has gone by and the baby's actually doing really well. They plot the baby's growth on the chart similar to as they do on the NHS, just to make sure that everything is all okay. So that's really, really lovely. Similar to the ultrasound appointment, if they can't get the right image on the day when they're measuring, they will get you to either go to the bathroom or jump around. Here it's kind of much more intense. So if they can't get the image, if they can't see the baby, because really what they're going for is, yes, they want to know that the baby is growing really well, but they are really looking to get that perfect photo of your baby for you, because that's in a way why a lot of people book these appointments. So they'll get you to empty your bladder, go to the bathroom, do lots of star jumps, do squats, get you moving around from side to side. I think I was in there for quite a while trying to get the baby to move into the correct position, because I think at the first appointment she was actually facing my spine, so we couldn't see her face. We kind of see the side of her cheek, but she was just kind of nestled in the back of my spine, so we just couldn't get the right image there. So they'll get you to do all of those things. And they will also recommend, top tip if this is your first appointment, to drink something cold and fizzy before you get to the appointment, or have some ice cream. I'm not sure why, but I think they must have tried these things out in the past, and they've probably noticed that kind of gets the baby moving. Maybe it's the sugar, maybe it's the cold temperature of the drinks and the foods that they're getting you to eat, and just kind of get the baby to react a little bit and just shake it about so you can get that photo. And of course, that's not you shaking the baby physically, it's the baby kind of wriggling around in there, moving and changing position so you can get the shot. So we actually didn't manage to get a photo after all of this, explaining all of this to you. We ended up having to go back 3 times, and the company that we went with, they were actually really good, and I didn't know that they would do this. I booked the appointment, we turned up, great experience, but they said, you know, we just can't get the baby's photo this session. So would you like to come back in a few weeks' time once the baby's grown a little bit more, maybe it's moved around, and then we can get the shot? And yeah, perfect. And that was free of charge, which was quite surprising. And then that ended up happening one final time, so for the 3rd attempt, to try to get the photo, but it didn't happen. Our baby was nestled into the placenta. So apparently the placenta is kind of like a cushion for babies. So our baby was just kind of right in there, right in the placenta, almost hugging the placenta, and that's why we couldn't get the photo. But as I say, I still highly recommend it, because all of these little things, like seeing her little face, you know, even in the placenta, you just see her moving around, you see her growing, and it was pretty amazing that they asked us to come back, because in a way you kind of get 3 scans in one. Which is remarkable. So really highly recommend it, even if you don't get the shot. And obviously not every single practice is gonna run or function the same way. I think we were just very lucky to have gone to this particular place and for them to ask us back a couple of times. But even if you don't get the shot, we didn't get the shot, but I felt great, just knowing that the baby was doing really, really well. And as a mom, it's just really nice to know that she's still growing well, she's still doing well, she's gaining weight, all of the measurements, you know, add up. We've heard her heartbeat, so that in itself was enough for me to be super happy with the experience. Just one more thing that I wanted to mention on here, there was something that wasn't mentioned to me on my NHS scan, was the positioning of my placenta. So when I went in for the 4D, that was one of the things that they said, you know, got an anterior placenta, and then, you know, that's absolutely normal, by the way, but you know, this is what it could mean. You might feel less movement from the baby, because there's almost like a barrier from you to the baby, except for on the sides. So that was one thing that I thought was super helpful just to know. And that was also, if you have an anterior placenta, the lady that did the scan on the 3rd try, she obviously does this for a living, and she said, I had an anterior placenta with all of my children, and obviously I was in here trying to get the best shot for myself, and I just couldn't. So it's just one of those things, and that's because they need space, the scan needs space between the uterine wall and the baby in order to get the shot. And if the placenta is in the way, and especially in our case when the baby is cuddling and licking the placenta, being all cute, maybe a little bit weird, there's not enough space to get it. So if you also have an anterior placenta, number 1, very, very good to know. Number 2, it might be a little bit tricky to get the shot, but all in all, very well worth it. Okay, so that's it. I really hope that you enjoyed the video today and learned something new. I didn't really do that much research before I went ahead for my 4D scan. I didn't really have family or friends who had a 4D scan either, so I just kind of went for it. But just because I really wanted to see that my baby was growing and developing, okay, 10 weeks, 8 weeks on from that NHS 20-week scan. So hopefully this has been really helpful for you. As I say, I definitely recommend the scan. If you've got any questions, please do pop them below in the comment section. I do try to get back to every single one of you. And please don't forget to support the channel by giving us a like and a subscribe. See you in the next one.